Event 2 for the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic. The Monster Dumbbell Press is in the books, and I have for you the Arnold Strongman Classic Monster Dumbbell Press results and full detailed analysis. Let's take a look at the breakdown. Starting off, we have Trey Mitchell, who went third in the order. He had 3 attempts in a row. He had enough power, but was pushing it a bit away from his body. Couldn't get a good rep. He caught all 3 tries back in his shoulder, didn't put any of them down. Then he switched over to his left hand, tried a rep there, no go, same sort of issue. Then he switched back to his right hand. 5 attempts in all for Trey Mitchell. 0 reps, gets 2.5 points though. The way they have it here, you don't get 0 points for 0, so that can affect the rankings a bit, so we'll see. But we did have some more zeros. Tom Stoltman, the current reigning world and Britain's strongest man, also zeros this. 2.5 points for Tom. He went 4th in the order. He had 4 left-hand tries, and with him it was even more obvious pushing it away from his body at a noticeable angle. He wasn't using any of the advanced techniques like the scoot under to get the clean body line over the center of gravity, or the bent press technique, which I'll talk about later with Evgeny Markov. But 0 for Tom, 2.5 points. Bobby Thompson, 0 for him as well. This was a little bit of a different situation. So Bobby went 7th in the order. He made 3 attempts, couldn't quite get them. Then he backs away, grabs the latch on his hard belt like he's about to take it off and give up and walk away. Holds the latch, thinks about it. You could see him thinking, and then puts it back on and goes back for a 4th attempt. Bobby, a warrior and super methodical. You can see him thinking his way through the event. So impressive to watch. Couldn't quite get that 4th one either, but that was the closest one. And typically you get more tired as you go along. Bobby was closest on his last rep to all of them, so really impressive to watch him despite the 0 rep performance there. 0 for JF Carron as well. So JF Carron ended up going 10th in the order. He seemed to try to launch his whole body into that 1 rep, couldn't quite get it, then grabbed his shoulder momentarily, so hopefully he's not too injured. I heard rumors that he may have a rotator cuff injury, but JF, a warrior, I think unless it's super serious, he'll keep going, but we'll see what happens today at events 3, 4, and 5. We hope it's not too serious and hope to see JF do very well in the upcoming events. 5 points then go to Maxime Boudreau, so 1 rep enough to get 5 points in this particular contest. He went 5th in the order. He's lifting right-handed. He had a nice, efficient clean and press over his body center for the first rep, so really like right over the body center, which is where you want it. When you start giving a little bit of angle, the dumbbell gets away from you. I know from trying it myself. And he misses his 2nd attempt, tries to rally the crowd around him. They do get around him. He tries it again, can't quite get it, but 1 rep, 5 points for Maxime Boudreau. Luke Stoltman went 1st in the order, did 3 reps, so set a really good mark for others to beat. Gets 7 points for that. He had a very good run there, using his whole body very effectively, and a solid run for him. You could really see the bar thickness when Luke was going, so they had a camera angle right in here, right between his face and the bar, and you could see his hand was like this open. The bar has got to be over 3 inches for sure. It's super thick and unwieldy. Evgeny Markov went 2nd in the order right after Luke Stoltman, so he, on the other hand, is using a lot of body English. So there's different techniques to try to get the press done on a monster dumbbell press, or a circus dumbbell press, as it's called sometimes. Evgeny is using the bent press technique. So basically, when you're about to press it, your body bends over away so that you're simulating the dumbbell traveling further than it's actually traveled, and then that way you're opening up the arm from the bottom as well as from the top so that the dumbbell doesn't have to go as far. And then when you're done, you just stand up straight. So Evgeny trying to use a lot of bent press technique to get his reps. And he does get 3 clean reps to tie Luke Stoltman. Couldn't get a 4th one. 7 points also go to Evgeny Markov. 7 points went to Martins Litzis, who also got 3 reps. He was a bit shaky on his 3rd. He gets it up, took a couple of steps, walked a little bit with it. This is the first time I noticed Ode Haugen being the referee, and that's only because Ode and Martins train together, as we've seen on Martins' channel quite a bit. But I didn't see any favoritism here. Ode was pretty strict with everybody. And, you could say that Martins' last rep was questionable. It was very, very close. But upon further observation, he did stop for a split second momentarily. So I would say on a dumbbell press, since it's only in one hand, you can't enforce this like Magnus for Magnuson log press rule of you got to stay still for a second, because with a dumbbell, it's just not as possible. So Martins definitely wasn't still for a second, but he was stopped and still for a split second momentarily. So I would say it was called a good rep. I would say deserves it. It was very, very close, but I would say deserves it. Rob Kearney comes in, goes 9th. He knew what he had to do. He was doing all of this on his good arm, not the one where he had the tricep injury, so working with his right arm here. First 3 reps, all relatively easy. Even the 4th one was relatively easy. Rob's technique impeccable here, going right over his center of gravity. You could tell it's something he's done hundreds or thousands of times, and very, very well prepared for this event. Rob continuing to dominate this contest now, and as you can see, the running place right over here, Rob, after 2 events, in first place overall, and I'll show you everybody's running place when we're done here, but Rob knew what he had to get done. So Alexi Novikov, who you'll see in a moment, who we all knew would win this event and did win this event, had already gone. So Rob knew how many reps he'd have to do to win the event, and it was a lot more. So I think he did what he had to do to solidify second place, walked away content with that, and did those 4 reps pretty easily, but probably knew he couldn't do 8 reps. He would have to double his reps to beat Alexi for first place, and smart move on Rob's part. And as we said here, Alexi Novikov, 7 reps. He did 6 of them without stopping, without a miss, and then finally missed one, took a short break, does his 7th rep, and so much power and technique here, both power and technique. I learned so much from watching Alexi Novikov do this from the various angles they showed, and this is coming from a guy who's talked to many strong men and strong women to learn their technique. I don't know nothing about this. You know, I'm coming in with some knowledge, and I still learned so much, especially from the back angle they showed. When they showed Alexi from the back, you could see when he went for his press, he was using a bit of bent press and also scooting his butt underneath, so it was perfectly aligned with the center of gravity of the dumbbell. It was just a thing of beauty to watch because it looked like he was doing it all by instinct. Every rep was exactly the same. It was a concert of 3 or 4 techniques happening all at once. Like, it's just beautiful to watch. So when you wonder why Alexi's so good at this and so much better than almost everybody else, it's not just pressing power. It's this concert of various techniques going on all at the same time that I find amazing or almost unattainable to be able to practice to do myself. It's just a thing of beauty, and when you see something special, like when you watch Michael Jordan, you know you're seeing something special, and that's what you saw here with Alexi Novikov, who wins the dumbbell press at the 2022 Arnold Strongman Classic for the men's pros. So, after 2 events, as you can see, Alexi in 2nd place overall. Rob Kearney leads the pack. He is in 1st place right now. Martins Licis in 3rd place overall, so there's your podium right now. It's Rob Kearney, Alexi Novikov, Martins Licis after 2 events. Of course, we have 3 more to go, but that's your podium right now. Evgeny Markov sits in 7th place. Luke Stoltman sits in 8th place after 2 events. Maxime Boudreau sits in 5th. JF Caron in 4th, amazingly, after not doing well with the dumbbell because he did so well on event 1 with the squat, which was, if you haven't seen that, go to the Rogue Fitness YouTube channel and watch. It was a spectacle to watch. Unbelievable how he handled that squat bar. Then we have Bobby Thompson sitting in 5th place, Tom Stoltman sitting in 9th, Trey Mitchell, unfortunately, in last place. So Trey not doing as well as I expected him to do on either of the 2 events. I thought he did well in the first event. They just had, you know, guys that did better. But and the max squat has a lot of strategy, so it's not necessarily the strongest guy per se, although JF was the strongest guy. Yeah, so Trey also, Big Loz said, had come into this with some small injuries as well, so hopefully that doesn't affect him too much, and he does well in the events to come. So those are your final results for the Monster Dumbbell Press and the detailed analysis of what happened during every guy's lift, which you probably won't find anywhere else. I hope I'm trying to give you really in-depth details, and so I look forward to seeing you again when we talk about Event 3 after it happens later today on March 5th. On the Rogue Fitness channel for the men's pros. And of course, until then, as always, ciao, homie.